Okay, then. Thank you, Tabitha, for that. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest in continuing to develop Eclipse Integra business. We are Premium Audio Company. Premium Audio Company is the owner of different brands. These brands also is included Eclipse and Integra. And we are two people from Premium Audio Company. My colleague, Juanma Abad, is the sales manager. I am the key account for you. He has a lot of experience in this area, in the NCI area. And myself, Raúl Centeno, I am the product manager for Eclipse, Integra, and Onkyo in Premium Audio Company. Today, also the speaker for this presentation. Okay. Today's session is designed as a practical workshop. Okay, it's not intended to be a product by product catalog review. Okay, that's a point. I'm not, as you can see, a native English speaker. My Spanish accent is here. Okay,
Then,
but I think you can understand. If not, please. Take basically say hey, please again or explain me again, and no problem about that. Okay. As I said, today's session is designed as a practical workshop. It's not intended to be a product by product catalog review. Okay. And the objective is more useful for your daily business is to see how we can translate real customer needs into clear, sellable, well-justified Eclipse plus Integra systems configurations. Okay, we will approach the session by room type. That is important. I'm for sure I will repeat the room word in the presentation a lot of times because I think it's the key of the presentation, the key of the workshop. The customer expectation, okay, and the level of integration and the system configuration, okay. The idea is that by the end of the season, you have a clear logic to understand which solution to propose in each scenario, okay. Then let me change for the first slide, okay. Basically explaining the word objective. Okay, the practical objective of this workshop is very direct and clear. Is help to you to select the right solutions, justify it better in front of the customer. Okay, and make the quotation process easier. This is the objective. In the custom installation project, there are usually two common mistakes. Okay, the first one is under specifying, put a lot of specifications in the solution. No, proposing a system that is not really aligned with the room or with the customer's expectations. Okay, and the second, second one is making the proposal too complex. Sometimes we are putting too many references, too many options, and not enough clarity. Okay. To avoid this, we will follow a simple logic. Well, first, that is important. That is the key of the presentation. We understand the room. If we have more information about the room, pictures, a map of the room with all the quotations, that's very important. Okay. Then we select the right product family, the second point, and finally, we build the complete system configuration, speakers, subwoofers, electronics, and when needed, that is important. I know that you are also you have this part in the company, a design support. Okay. The goal today is not to know every detail of every model. Okay. The goal is to know how to choose the right direction. Okay. In that slide, you can see also in the white Casa Bonai. Casa Bonai is in a hotel in Spain. And when they are giving us the brief, as you can see, they are asking or requesting to us give solution for different areas in the hotel. As you can see, living room, restaurant and coffee, a rooftop, and the bedrooms. We will see during the presentation how we are also developing this part. At the end of the presentation, we are giving to you the solution for that project. Okay, let's go. The principle, the first principle is room first, product second. This is probably the most important principle of the presentation. Okay, as always say, I am repeating again and again and again. This is a marketing and advertising they are using for the advertising and marketing. Repeat almost 3 times the word. No, in that case, the room first, the product second. Okay. In a technical sale, it's very easy to start with the model, and then which speaker and which AVR or which subwoofer. No, but it should not be the first step. Okay. Before talking about the product, we need to understand the room. And let me explain. Living room is not the same as a dedicated cinema room, as you know. An invisible aesthetic installation is not the same as cinema room where the customer accepts a more visible and higher performance solution. And a customer who simply wants to improve the TV sound, is not the same a customer who expects a private cinema experience. Okay, that's why the first need to look is at the type of the space, to intend use. The screen is big, small, it's on a TV, it's on a projector. Okay, the listening distance, where is the sofa? Okay, or where the sitting distance, or the sitting layout. Okay, the aesthetic expectation, also important. The budget, we have to know the budget, and the performance expectation of the customer or the owner. When this is clear, the product selection becomes much easier, and much easier to defend also. For example, if a partner asks for a recommendation for a cinema room, the first question should not be which speaker should we use. Okay. First, we need to understand whether we're talking about the living room, a dedicated room, a large screen, an acoustic transparent screen, also important, 1 or 2 rows of seats, and what level of impact or some pressure the customer expects. The key idea is this: we are not selling a reference, an isolated product. We are selling the right solution for a specific room. And in this, you can see in this slide, first, the room use case, a dedicated room, living room, hospitality, outdoor. Okay, that's the first layer. Okay, the first filter. The second is the customer's expectation. The customer want invisible speakers. They want a premium performance. They want to improve the TV sound with a quick installation. Okay, and then we are choosing the system. Okay, system format. Maybe we want to improve the TV sound, basically with a 2.1, it's okay, or 2.2. We will see later. Okay, and then we are choosing the Clips family on wall, CI, THX, RCC, Real Custom Cinema, or maybe a Sombra, a Flexus. Okay, or if it's a project or the previous for outdoor, we have also the solutions. And in case of the electronics, in case of the Integra, we are choosing the AVR. Okay, the CI amplifier, the control, the diagnostics, and the calibration. Okay, let's go to the next. And then the question is why Clips and Integra works as a system? Because they are working very well together. Because they are covered 2 different parts of the project. Clips brings the acoustic platform, the efficiency, dynamics, low distortion, the controlled directivity and the cinema experience. And Integra brings the electronics and the integration layer, okay? The channels, the processing, the connectivity, IP control, RS232, the triggers, the web setup, okay? The HDMI diagnostics, the Dirac calibration, and the professional installation support. Okay, this allows to you to present a more complex or complete, not complex, complete solution. Okay, it's not only about selling speakers or AVR separately. It's about building a coherent system. And clips, basically summarizing this part, clips deliver the sound. Integra helps deploy it, control it, and maintain it properly. Okay? Then
Can you repeat it, please? The last part.
basically clips deliver the sound, and Integra helps to deploy it. Okay, control it and maintain it properly. That's the point.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
And we are also basically is the only slide you can see all the products, all the. We are not presenting today the catalog. We did in the past, and for sure you already have this catalog. That's the point. This is a CI portfolio map. Okay, and one of the strengths of the Clip CI portfolio is that it's very wide. Okay. But because of that, it's important to explain it and in an organized way. Okay, we should not present is a long list of models. It's much more useful to organize by application. Okay, you can see here in the top the indoor part and the outdoor part. This is the first filter, and you can see here also for residential we have different products. Okay. And then, for example, for invisible residential integration, we have in-wall, as you can see, and in-ceiling architectural speakers. These are the natural solution when the customer wants to go wants good sound with a minimum visual impact. And for the dedicated cinema rooms, okay, we have this part, the THX cinema speakers, or the real custom cinema. Okay, and for living room or multi-purpose spaces or installation where we do want heavy construction work, we can work with an on-wall solutions or passive or subwoofers in that case, that part. Okay, and for outdoor, this is in the top below this part of here. Hospitality or commercial areas, we have a specific solutions such as PSM, RSM, landscape, rock speakers, and professional products. And then the question is not which model do I sell. The question is which product family fits this project best. Okay. Then let's go to the next slide because for me. This slide summarizes the quick selection logic. Okay. In a real project, we usually have three main variables. As always, I'm saying in the presentation, the type of room, the customer's performance expectation, and the level of the aesthetic integration. Okay. And we are dealing with a living. In that case, we are living in the basically living room or TV area. The priority is usually to combine a clear sound to a grade with a reasonably simple installation. Okay, that's in that case on wall solutions, a soundbar, in-wall or in-ceiling speakers can all be relevant depending of the space. Okay. If we are talking about a small or medium dedicated room, we start thinking about configurations. This part of here, we are thinking about configurations like 5.1, 5.2, 5.1.2 or 0.4. Okay, and using architectural or THX products depending of the expected performance level. Okay. And then, if the customer wants a clearly cinema or cinematic experience with more impact, more dynamics, and more control, THX starts to make a lot of sense. Okay, And if the project is the premium, the premium dedicated cinema, which are large screens, several listen positions, possibly multi-setting rows, and real private cinema expectation, then we should consider real customer cinema and also all the part of the design from the beginning. Okay, and this guide do not replace the project design, but it's help us to avoid starting from zero every time. Okay, it also helps in a commercial conversation. When a customer or partner is not exactly sure that what they need, we can use this matrix to organize the discussion. Okay. First, we identify the room type, then we understand the priorities. Is aesthetic, is performance, or is budget? And finally, we propose the logical recommendation. Okay, and this avoids jumping directly into product references and helps us justify when an architectural solution may be enough in one case, why THX makes sense in another, or why RCC, real cost of cinema, should be reserved for truly premium projects. Okay. For you, for Genesis, the logic helps create faster and more consistent proposals across partners. And let me explain about the technology. Okay, Clips has a very clear caustic identity. Okay, and this is important when we are talking about the home cinema or custom installations. One of the main technologies is the Tactics horn, because we are providing high efficiency and we are controlling the directivity, and are not just technical features. They have a direct impact on the customer experience. Okay, high efficiency allows the system to deliver higher sound pressure with less amplifier effort. That translates into more dynamics and less compression when the movie soundtracks demand impact. The controlled directivity helps direct more energy towards the listening area and reduce some unwanted room reflections. This can improve clarity, specifically for dialogue and from the stage effects. Okay, and then the low distortion is also critical because in a cinema, when we are putting up the volume, it should stay clean when the level is increasing. Okay, you understand this part. The customer benefit is not having a horn. No, the customer benefit is more dynamics, more clarity, and more stronger cinema feeling. It's important to explain that this is in a simple way. We are not selling the technology as the end in itself. The technology helps us justify the experience with more impact, more intelligence, and more realism. Okay. Let me also go to the this part. The installation efficiency protects margin. Okay. In a custom installation, a product is not only evaluated by how it sounds. Okay. It also matters how much time it takes to install, adjust, and make it work properly. Systems like registered systems such as Secure Fit or Skyhood are designed to reduce installation time and make the installer's job easier. Okay, this has a direct business impact: less time on site, less risk or installation errors, mistakes, fewer follow-ups calls, and better margin for the installer. For the partner, it's important because the real margin of the project is not only in the product, it's also in the efficiency of the executions. And with these two technologies, we are improving the way of the installations, no vibrations in that case, and then imagine if we are not installing in a proper way, or basically the speaker is falling up to the floor, is broken, then we are also losing margin. That's important. That's why I am including this presentation here. Okay, and let's go. That's the important, I think, part for you. Let's go to the case one. Okay, if we were living, we are basically starting with a very common case. It's in a living room or a media room, a TV room. Okay, in this situation, we are usually do not have a dedicated cinema space. Okay, we have aesthetic limitations for sure. We have, because we have furnitures, we have windows, normally open areas, and sometimes often limited freedom to place a big speakers. Okay, in this scenario, the priority is not to build a most powerful cinema room possible. The priority is clear. Basically, is improve the TV sound or the dialogue of the movie or the reinforce a music experience. Okay, but keeping the installation reasonable. Depending of the project, we can use an all-in-wall solutions. We can also use some bars in-wall or in-ceiling speakers. Okay, and on the electronic side, Integra allows us to adapt the configuration to a real number of channels and the connectivity that we need. Okay, in a living room, the best solution is not always the biggest one. Okay, is the one that gives the best balance between sound, aesthetics, and installation. And you can see in that table, basically, the room contains is not visible boxes, no major constructions, fast, maybe a modular install, or traditional AV control. You can see the possible solutions here. Okay, for not visible boxes, we are using in-wall and in-ceiling speakers. For no major constructions, we can also go to this on-wall. If it's on a modular installation, fast modular installation, we can use the sound bars, maybe the Flexus ones. And for traditional EV, we can also use these two models for Integra 2.4 or 3.4. Okay. Let's go to the next. That's a messy and slide, but I think it's important because this slide is designed as a conversation tool. Okay. Because before deciding specific models, it is useful to align the system architecture. That means how many channels. We need a dedicated center channel. We need surround. We need Atmos. How many subwoofers make sense? That's the questions, okay? And as I said, for simple projects, we can start with a 2.1. That's here. Or 2.2. Specifically, if the focus is improved to the TV or the music area, okay? If we are moving to the 3, this part of 3.2, is very interesting because when we want to improve the dialogue clarity, because we add a dedicated center side channel, and then we also with the possibility to put 1 or 2 subwoofers, okay? And 5.7, okay, from 5.1, 5.2, we are entering in the real surround experience, okay? This is often a very balanced configuration for many domestic rooms. This is a basics for that, no? And when we are adding Atmos, this part, okay? For example, 5.2, 5.1.2 or 0.4, when we start improving the sense of the height of immersion in the room, okay? At this point, we need to think carefully about the ceiling, the listening position, and the type of height speakers that we are using or we want to use. And in the more complex projects, 7 speakers, 0.2, 0.4, even 7.4, 0.4, we are going to the premium solutions, okay, where the electronics, the calibrations, and the room design become much more critical, okay. The X is a second number. It's also important because we should not think about one or two subwoofers only as a question for mass, for more bass. Okay, two subwoofers, when are properly placed in the room and calibrated, can help to achieve more even bass response across the room. Okay, and in the premium projects, maybe four subwoofers may make sense when there are several listening positions, multiple seating rows. Okay, so before increasing the number of channels, we need to confirm first the room, if the room allows proper placement the surrounds, the Higgs speakers, and subwoofers. The configuration is not decided by ambition. Okay, it's decided by the room, the use case, and the customer expectation. A bigger configuration is only better if the room and the budget allows it to be implemented in the correct way. Okay? I think now you can understand this part. Okay? The simple solutions, more sophisticated solutions that you can see here with blue in the front speakers. The red is Atmos, and green is for surround speakers. Okay, let's go. And then for the case 2. The second case is in the slide you can see dedicated small and medium room. Here the situation changed. Normally we have more control over the screen position, also for the seatings, sofas, for the cabling, okay, and the surround speakers and ceiling speakers, okay. And this allows us to propose more coherent configurations, as you can see in the last slide. 5.2 configurations, maybe 7.1.4 configuration, but it's depending on the room size and the budget, okay. In this type of project, architectural of TH solution can coexist. Okay, we do not always need to jump immediately to the higher solution, but we do need to make sure that the system has enough dynamic and that the placement is correct. Okay, this is also where Integra, the brand, start to bring a lot of value, more channels, direct calibration, not only in the digital life, also direct the part of the subwoofers management, okay, and control and diagnostics. In a dedicated room, the sound quality starts to become as important as the product quality. And as you can see, well, in our catalog, in our family, the product that we are using for the position, in case of from left, center, or right, this part in wall. Also, we have the same for inselling. These two are for in wall. These two are for inselling, and also basically our recommendation in case of the electronics with these two models of Integra, 3.4 and 5.4. Okay. That's also important for the room connection and the system control. Okay, let's go then for the TH6. We are talking about a lot of TH6, and then what TH6 means in Eclipse CA proposal. Well, we should not present TH6 only as certification or a law. Okay, TH6 helps us to explain that we are moving into a more demanding performance level. That means higher sound pressure, more dynamics, better control, and experience closer to the cinema room. Okay, this is a useful commercial because it creates a clear difference versus basic home cinema installation. In the proposal, TX6 helps us justify why we are recommending a more robust solution because the room, the listening distance, or the customer expectation requires a system with a higher capacity or capability. Okay, it's also important to use THX correctly. In a commercial case, THX also helps us separate a standard proposal from a high performance proposals. Okay, this helps a lot when the customer compares the proposal with more basic solutions because we are justifying the step up not only by the product but by experience level. Okay, and also it's important to say that THX provides a strong performance foundation, but the room, the placement, and the calibration are here still critical. Okay, as you can see, we have two certifications, THX Select and THX Ultra. Okay. I think it's interesting also to know where's the placement or the THX placement logic. Okay. Because in this slide remind us that in a dedicated cinema room, the placement is critical. Okay. It's not enough to select the good speakers. Also, we need to understand where they are supposed to work. In the front stage, as you can see here in the blue, okay, in a wall solutions, speakers, or in a ceiling solutions, the blue part, okay? From the stage, center channel, surround layer, high layer, and subwoofers, okay? That's important, the distance, this listening distance. Also, the angle and the sitting position, more comfortable for us, no, to see the screen in a good position. Because it's strongly, basically, it's strongly influenced in the product selection and the system configuration. Okay. That's why THX projects are, or dedicated cinema rooms, it's better to involve the design center or the design partners, okay, as early as possible, especially if there are several sitting rooms. Here we are only one sofa, but imagine we have two sofas here. That's important. Or a large screen, or do we have some limitations in the room? No, that's important. Also, take part or basically involve to the design center. Okay, in a dedicated cinema, the product and the placement should be decided in that case together. Okay, let's go to the case 3. Okay. In that case, we have a premium dedicated room, and also we are using THX box systems. As you can see, THX box systems, that the speakers, that they have their own box, and they are certificated by THX. And then the size is certificate. Okay, that does mean we have the certification for that models. Okay. And then in a premium dedicated room, the customer is no longer just looking for a surround sound, okay? The customer is looking for impact, they are looking for dynamics, and they are looking for experience closer to the cinema, okay? And here, the THX box solutions can make a lot of sense, okay? Especially when the room allows a more visible installation or installation behind the screen. Okay, and then it's a natural step for the projects where we want more sound pressure and more authority, and then with a conventional architectural solution. Okay, but without moving yet into the real custom cinema. No, the THX box is very interesting solution when the performance is more important than invisibility. Okay. Our recommendations, as you can see for the front LCR, these models. Okay. You can see also in the model name LCR. Also for surrounds. Also we have the subwoofers and a dedicated amplifier also for the subwoofers. And in case of the Integra, the ABR, our recommendation, there are these products, the 5.4 and 8.4. Okay, and then let's go to the case 4. Okay, a real custom cinema. Let me say, real custom cinema is in a different category with the portfolio, within the portfolio. Okay, we should not present is a normal evolution of an architectural loudspeakers. It's a solution designed for premium private cinema rooms where the customers want an experience much closer to the professional cinema. And here, Clips has a very clear strength because basically the brand has a long history in a commercial cinema. In case, imagine if in American market, one of 3 cinemas is basically installed by Clips, or they are using Clip speakers. We have a lot of experience in that. And then RCC, or Real Custom Cinema, brings part of that logic into the residential space. And then we are talking about the system with a very high dynamic capacity, high efficiency, high SPL, and much more serious low frequency performance. Okay, that's why Real Custom Cinema makes sense when we have a large screen, a dedicated room, several listen positions, a demanding customer, and enough budget, of course, to do the things properly. Okay, and then RCC is not for every project. It's for projects where the cinematic experience is the main objective. And if the room is not clear or defined, or if the customer doesn't want to enter in the higher level of design of installation, RCC is probably not the first step. Okay, in that case, we can use, as I said in the previous slide, THX or architectural solutions, maybe more appropriate. Okay, let me explain more about RCC. Basically, in the RCC system or RCC solution, Real Custom Cinema, the system selection is mainly based on the scale of the project. Okay, the Clips structure RCC into different levels depending on the screen size and the room requirements. Okay, this helps a lot in the commercial conversation. We are linking the recommendation to the real project parameters: screen size, distance, number of seats, and performance expectations. In the RCC, the largest image and the largest the room, the higher system capability needs to be. Okay, and in the real CC projects, we should not improvise. When in doubt, it's better to involve the design or pro design from the beginning. Okay, you can see our systems. We are basically offering 3 systems, it depending of the screen size. Screens with 102 inches to 111 inches, we are proposing one system, the 102, and it depends of the screen. As again, 112 inches, we are also, you can see the name of the system. 122 inches, we are also offering the 122 model. Okay, it's important because basically these systems is installed behind the screen. We need that part, and it's important to know exactly the size of this screen to for the better recommendation of the system. Also, it's important, that's why I'm also including in that slide the distance of the sitting room or the viewing location. Okay, and then because we are determined also depending of the distance, depending of the screen size, we are also choosing one or two or other model. Okay, and then let's go for that. I think it's also interesting because it's good or it's important from a commercial point of view. Very often, when we present too many options, the customer do not decide. Okay, that's why structuring the proposal as a good, better, or best can help a lot. And then let me explain also the meaning. The good doesn't mean basic or poor. It's mean a correct, coherent, a well-sized solution for a specific need. Okay, better represent the balance of grade, better performance, better configuration, maybe more channels, better subwoofer, or more capable electronics. Okay, and the best option is a premium option, more dynamics, more control, more subwoofers, better processing, THX or RCC solutions, and usually more design support. Okay. The advantage of this approach is that we are not forcing to the customer to compare 10 different references. Okay. We are presenting three clear paths, three clear solutions: good, better, best. It's not only a price ladder, okay? It's a experience ladder. The goal is not to push to the customer toward to the most expensive options. The goal is to show what the customer gains at each step, okay? This structure you can see here also helps to protect the margin. If we present only one option, the customer usually negotiate price, as you know. If we present three well-built levels, the conversation changes. The customer compares value, and then good covers the need, better clearly improve the experience, in the best represent aspirational or premium solutions. For you, this is also important because it helps to sell in a more consistent way following common logistics. Then in that slide, basically, it's good to see what's we can offer with Integra AVR selection. Okay, that we shall not choose the receiver only by the power or price. The important point in that slide is look the configuration that we want to build. Okay, basic configurations 5.1, 5.1.2. The number of subwoofers. We need DIRAC, we need calibration, we need DIRAC bus for the control of the bus. We need different zones. We need diagnostics. That's, I think, it's important to choose the right model for the installations. Okay. For the simple design systems, as you can see, DRX 2.4 can cover many residential configurations. When we move into more complex Atmos systems, more channels or dedicated rooms, 3.4, 5.4 start to make more sense. Okay, and for premium projects with maybe 11 channels, more subwoofers, more connectivity, and higher integration requirements, the model 8.5 is a natural choice. One important point is not to over-specify or under-specify the electronics. First, we define the systems, then we choose the right receiver, AV receiver. Not every model fits every project. Then step up is the range, in the range that you can see here, is justified by channels, control, subwoofers, and the project complexity. I'm not entering all these specifications. I think you have clear, but it's important to know all of this about the best fit, or maybe for easy or simple installations. And you can choose the receiver for premium projects. I think it's interesting to explain to you this table and how you can use this table to take or to choose the right AV receiver. Okay, that's important also because we also explained this part in the previous presentation a month ago about the Integra. It's a brand for installers. Yeah, Integra is not only a VR brand with good specifications. It's a brand strongly focused on the custom installation channel. Okay, and for installers, features such IP control, RS232 triggers, web setup, HDMI diagnostics, compatibility with control platforms, remote monitoring service are very important, and we know. And they make the setup easier. The problems to be solved faster and reduce unnecessary service visits to the customer's home. In the real projects, this can be valuable as an audio specification because it's directly affect installation time and support costs. And then Integra helps the system not only with a sound good or the good sound, that's we know, but also in the installation for the control and the maintenance. Okay, in the previous month ago, we are explaining some parts, the web setup, also HDMI diagnostic. This part is very important because sometimes we don't have image, or we don't have sound, and then in the own AV receiver, we have this possibility of the diagnostics, and also basically the own system can also solve the problem, basically reduce the quality of the image or reduce or change the setup to solve this part. Basically check the HDMI cable, that's important, basically, because sometimes the specification of the cables, they are saying that it's 4K and that is not. That's important also, this part in the AV receivers. Okay, let's go then. We are in the last two slides of the presentation. ProDesign. ProDesign is a tool that we are offering to you. ProDesign is very important tool for the projects. It's always for the room, where the room, the screen, the sitting rows, or performance targets require more precision. It's a free tool for you. It's a free room design service that we are offering to you. Basically, as you can see, there is a email address. It's prosystemdesign@clips.com, and it's help to validate product selection, speaker position, coverage, sound pressure, and recommended electronics. And for you and your partners, this is also a commercial tool because it gives more confidence to the customer and reduce installation risk. And then ProDesign helps us to move from an estimated proposal to a designed solution. Okay, and then it's important for that. And then it's, as I said, it's in a free room. Basically, they are requesting a floor plan, a ceiling height, screen size, and sitting position, and clean expectation. We are sending an email, and also we can put in copy to Juanma or myself. And in 48 hours, you are receiving not a quotation, basically a plan, a design of your project. Okay, let's go to this part. Do you remember at the beginning of the presentation, Casa Bonai? Casa Bonai, the hotel in Barcelona, for us is a case of a study. This case is interesting because it shows how clips can solve different spaces within the same project. At Casa Bonai, we are not talking only about the cinema room. We are talking about hospitality, in that sense, common areas, restaurant, rooftops, guest rooms, each one with different requirements. Okay, this reinforces the main idea of the presentation. First, we understand the space, then we choose the right solution. Okay, in one single project like is this may require several different clips solutions. Okay, as you can see, the spaces or the brief or the requirement, the living room, cocktail bar, the restaurant, cafe, and rooftop, and the bedrooms. And then we are also going with a clear path to do a solution. Okay, and that's it. This is the last slide. Let me also remember these three things. Okay, I know that I am using this part several times in the presentation, but the first one is the room. Okay, the right solution not to start with a specific product reference, is to start with the room. Also the same, the size, the screen, the listening distance, the system position, or the customer expectation. When we understand the room properly, it becomes much easier to recommend the right configuration and justify why we are choosing one solution over another solution. The second one is the system thinking. We should not think about clips and Integra as isolated products. Clips provide the acoustic platforms, impact, dynamics, and clarity. Integra provides control, setup, connectivity, calibration, and confidence for the installer. And the third, I think it's interesting also, the packages sell. For partners, it's much easier to sell when they do not have to build every proposal reference by reference from scratch. Okay, a good, better, best structure helps accelerate the recommendation, simplifies the customer conversation, and clearly show what the customer gains when moving to the next level. Okay. In summary, the opportunity for you, for Genesis, is not only to sell more products, but to help each partner build clearer, faster, and better justified proposals. Let me finish the presentation, and Renato, okay. And the next step, I will be very useful to review 2 or 3 real projects, okay, examples or room brief from your partners. With the real cases, we can refine the configuration logic and turn into recommendations that are easier to quote, okay? And that's it. That's all for my part. This concludes the presentation part. We can also take with Renato for a few minutes for questions or discuss any specific case you may have. Okay, thank you very much.
Renato, thank you, Raul. Great presentation again. I just wanted to ask something about the package. In the past, we were the distributors of JBL synthesis, and one of the things that indeed works really well is the package. And they had this package organized by the volume of the room, and that was quite cool because it was not only the area, because sometimes area is not everything, especially with sound propagation, with bass. And they had this recommended package inside each parameters. Like you have the wall, the front, the system of the front walls by the size of the screen they had for the full room. So if you can advise us in some package that you can build with your experience of that you have, that will be great. So then the third line of your advice is perfect, and if you can complement with some advice, is great. System thinking, we are aligned. We even go a step further. We also put the cables. We include the cables on the solution to make sure that the quality is there. And room first, fully agree with you, is the way of starting is with the room, that there's no discussion about price. If the room is big, it needs a big system. If the room is small, it's a small system. So there's no discussion about price on that. So Thank you for the presentation.
No, that's, I think it's the principle. The first step is the room. You know the room, you have the specifications of the room, and even you have pictures or you are visiting the room. That's perfect because you know how to design. That's with your experience for sure. But it's the first step, okay? And Juanma, I think for the solutions, I think we have for this part.
Yeah, we have. I need to check in the professional brochure, but I think we have a different configuration. If you were talking about 20 seats, 100 seats, more than 150 seats, or even big cinema room. So we can provide this kind of information. Yeah.
No, but maximum that we are doing is like 30 seats. So please don't go crazy with the. With
No. What I'm saying is that we have this information from the professional cinemas, so we can adapt this information to the small one. So, but it's okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That will help a lot, guys. Any questions, remarks from my team?
Our intention is share with you this presentation. Also share with you the catalog. And also we can also check this part of the selection, okay, and then also share with you. And also we have you have our contacts, emails, address, and so we can also contact with us. If we also, it's important if you have to test the Pro Design tool. If you have some projects there that we have to test, you can also put in copy to us and we can help with that, okay?
Perfect. About the preamp that you discussed, you think that will be presented at CEDIA? The preamplifier?
Yeah. Onkyo is going to arrive first, maybe.
Yes.
We're going to have the Onkyo version. And we can discuss if you can have access to the Onkyo one. And Onkyo will be next year. Not sure if we are going to show in CEDIA. But for sure, as soon as we are going to have the first set.
Yeah, we are working now with
information I will share with you.
Yeah, that's cutting.
It's more concerned. Yesterday.
Yeah.
No, that's frankly speaking. We are working with a product planning first for Onkyo.
I'm a commercial. Maybe your question, your concern is going.
I think you have some issue with the connection. There's some shortcuts.
I know.
Well, basically, we are working on that with planning people, with Japanese guys, and the first lineup is Onkyo, and the second that we are also working on that is Integra, and then for CS, I think Onkyo it's the first option, and then Integra. But we are working in the new lineup for the next year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
For that opportunity to the presentation to you, and okay, I'm here. If you need anything, please contact me or contact us, Juanma or myself. Okay.